Now this tutorial shows you how to create the motion guide animation technique. Now this animation technique allows you to use a special kind of layer, which is the motion guide layer. They use this layer for the animated objects to tween and follow along a certain path. So basically here you would need two layers. One layer would be for the object, okay, that you would follow on the path. Let's say for example I'm gonna make here a fly. Okay, so just a quick one, simple fly, and then right, so just gonna make an oval one. Okay, rotate it. It's alright. Okay, and still the same one, but I think it's better to use the object drawing mode so that even if we overlap the shapes doesn't destroy it. Here, and I'm just gonna change it with a different color. Here you go. And then you press Q to rotate. Okay, and then you can drag it. So this is the fly's wings. Alright. Oops. Q to transform. There you go. And just duplicate this. Alt, click and drag, Q to transform, and then alright, here we go. So let's say this is our fly that we wanted to follow on a path. So since it will be moving following the path, we have to convert this to a movie clip. So highlight your fly, convert it to symbol. You can press F8 or you can right click, convert to symbol, and then I'm just gonna name it fly. Click OK. I think I already have another fly here, so I'm just gonna name it fly underscore F for final. Click OK, and then okay, we're just gonna name this layer here fly, so it's easy for us to manage just in case we have a lot of layers. If you create your a different animation with a lot of layers later on, no? So once you have your object that you wanted to follow in a path, so you need to create another layer for the path where you draw the path. So here in Adobe CS5, you just have to right click on a certain layer. Let's say in this case it's fly layer, and then choose here add classic motion guide. So once you've done that, automatically it will add a new layer, a special kind of layer with a special kind of icon, which is the motion guide icon. Now, so I want you to select the motion guide layer, and from that you can draw a path where you want your fly to follow. So use the pencil tool, or you can press letter Y to draw your path, and you can scribble using the pencil tool on the stage depending on how you want the fly to move across your stage. Alright, so once you have that, you can set now the duration of your animation for the fly. So to do that, let's just say the animation is going to be on until the 85th frame. So just select both of the frames. Okay, the 85th frame for both of the layers. Okay, the guide layer and the fly layer. So selecting the 85th frame, you can right click. Here you can right click on it and insert a keyframe. Let's say on the fly layer, do the same thing as well. Right click, insert a keyframe, or you can just press F6. Now go back to your fly layer and set the initial position of your fly. Okay, once you select your fly, you can see that there's like a little circle in the middle, so that's gonna serve as like a guide that you have to snap this little circle to the first end. If your fly is too big, you can make it smaller. You can press Q to transform. You can resize your fly. Right. So I'm just gonna zoom in, Control plus, and then select again your first frame. Okay, select and move your fly using the move tool, and make sure that this little circle would snap to the first end of your path. And since, as you could see, the fly is facing backwards, so you could press Q, and you could rotate it, rotate your fly. There you go. So let's say that's the initial position of your fly, and try to select the last keyframe, and in here, okay, you could set the destination of your fly. So since we resize it on the previous keyframe, you can resize it again here. So keyframes represent different pictures. So just here, just resize it. Okay, so I'm gonna make it smaller. Okay, and rotate it so that it would appear that it's moving towards this direction. And then on the 85th frame, try to drag your fly using the move tool and make sure that the little circle would snap to the other end of the path. So here on frame 1 we have the starting point or the initial position of the fly, and then on the last keyframe in here, it's 85th frame, we're snapping the fly to the other end. Okay, you can only do this if it's a moving clip. And once you've done that, okay, you just right click in between the keyframes and create a classic tween. So this is for Adobe CS5. Okay, so Adobe Flash CS5 classic tween. So once you hover or you run or you move your playhead across the timeline, you could see that the fly is moving. Alright. So just in case you wanted to adjust the position of your fly, making it look realistic, you can also add some keyframes. Okay, let's say F6 here, or you can right click, okay, insert a keyframe, and you could also just manipulate the position of your fly to make it look realistic that it's moving following this path, no? So you can just adjust, and you can do the same thing in between the different keyframes. So right click, insert keyframe, and change the rotation of your fly, okay, and then move it. There you go. Okay, let's say in this part here you want to adjust as well. Right click, insert a keyframe, and you can rotate it just in case you need to make it look more realistic, you know? So you just have to add keyframes on the layer fly and just rotate your fly, and you can do the same thing for the remaining frames. Now when you preview this, so I'm just gonna press Control Enter, so you can see that your fly is moving across your stage, which is by following the path. So once you've done that, okay, that's how to do the motion guide animation technique.